Happy Friday, everybody. Welcome back to Reality Water Cooler. I am Sarah from Texas, and this is our place to chat all the latest celebrity news, reality TV, which is Thousand Pound Sisters and Real Housewives of Orange County, and Jeff Lewis Live and Jeff Lewis Extended. Shout out, everybody. Hello. Robin is on early. Yes, we are live 4 p.m. Eastern now. I just needed an extra hour of cushion before I listen to all the shows and I'm able to chat live every day. So it's really working for me that I'm not so stressed out. Although, shout out Michael Riley having a glass of Pinot Grigio. I'm so glad you're doing okay in Orlando. So happy to hear that you weren't badly affected by the hurricane. So I did mess up the app again today. Well, it's not me. It's SiriusXM. It is not me. So I was listening. I was on delay because, as you know, on Fridays, I meet with my mentee. So that's right in the middle of the day now. And I'm on my 4th year with my little 5th grade mentee. I love her so much. And so I always have to pause it. So I got to when they were going to the second commercial, went to play it. And I was reheating me up some lunch from dinner last night. And all of a sudden it went to Jeff Lewis Extended. And as you know, when that happens, you can't mess with it because I'm not messing with it. And then the app goes hours before they bring it up. So if anything happened at the very end, I missed it, y'all. Let me know. Welcome, welcome, welcome. If anyone is brand new here, type in comments. We'd love to hear where you're from. If you are listening as a replay on YouTube and on the Facebook page, Sarah from Texas, you can hit the button and follow along with all the comments that were live as you missed. So hello, Lori. Hi, Sarah and friends. I love that. I love that we have found our people. We get together. We share the highs and lows of life. We chat reality TV. We chat Jeff Lewis. We chat celebrity news. We chat everything. So we cheer each other on. We lift each other up and we pray and bring bright lights to everyone that needs it. So I love that. I love that Patrice is asking Michael how he did. Love it so much. Okay, let's get into some news. Joel Kim Booster, who did blast Shannon a week or two ago on the, probably tomorrow's almost 2 weeks ago. I can't remember. It was on a Saturday or Sunday, whatever it was, I think. He did put out an apology. I shared it all on there was 2 parts. And then he put out a 3rd Instagram story. So it will disappear in 24 hours. So go to my page, Sarah from Texas podcast on my Instagram. And it's in my stories. I thought the apology was meh. He was basically like, I shouldn't have said that. He didn't exactly say it wasn't true. Because in the part 2 of it, he pretty much said, I wish Shannon the best. I hope she gets healthy. I hope she finds love that she deserves. So I did a poll and no one agrees. Well, very few agree that it was a very sincere apology. So the other thing that he put out was basically like, I love the cast and crew so much that I would go to battle for them. But he didn't say anything. No, he didn't say, what did he say? Production? What does he say? His Instagram is something weird. And I thought when I looked at it last night, it was private. It wasn't. I think I'm thinking his Instagram is I hate Joel Kim. Like, interesting. And then of course he's promoting his shows as he's after that. What did he say? Okay, 4 hours ago is when he put out the parts 1 and 2 of the apology. Oh no, he kept it. Okay, then an hour later he put, love our incredible crew and production staff so much, and I would go to war for each and every single one of them. Nothing about cast, though. Nothing about the cast. Nothing about the ladies. And then, well, maybe that's not his show. I don't know. I think he was promoting his own show after that, but whatever. Yes. Why did he even do that? Patrice says. I mean, I'm assuming if he's even big enough, how many fans does he have? How many followers? 243,000. So that's a lot for an Instagram following. So he is big. Although seems like a dipshit to me. Yeah, Rebecca says, I think her behavior was bad to the crew or a specific person, but he shouldn't have said it. Exactly. Very unprofessional. And if anything, the only thing it did is it let us know who the host of Love Hotel is, because nobody knew before that. You know what I mean? Um, Robin says, I don't think I have the right time to click on. We're live at 4 p.m. Eastern now. So, yes, thank you for letting her know. Okay, what else? So, last night, Watch What Happens Live, Shannon looked fantastic. She looked so happy, considering it was a horrible episode for her. I mean, it was the first night on their London birthday trip. They all come out. Somebody says at the dinner, the first night of the birthday girls trip, somebody, I don't remember who it was, Tamara probably, said something like, how's the lawsuit going? And of course, she doesn't want to talk about that, but she did let us know that she had just heard. So this is on March 24th. I think it was her actual birthday when they flew to London, or maybe March 25th. So in real time on the show, she had just gotten a statement from her attorney saying that John Jansen had said he would agree to the terms, her paying back the $75,000, and she also had to put out a statement saying that he was generous. So he is so concerned about optics. He is so concerned. That's all he ever talks about is, well, she's basically saying I was a sugar daddy, and she paid, or that she was a sugar daddy. She was a sugar mama for me, that, she paid for everything, and I don't want that out there. What do you care? I mean, at some point, if you know your truth, move the hell on with your happy Alexis, right? But on the show, Shannon accidentally finds this text that I guess she had wiped clear. So when I, I'm trying to save space on my phone, I just wipe text clear. I just swipe right and they all delete. But I think if they come up, mine, if somebody else sends me a DM or a text, all the old texts don't come up. So I actually don't know how she got that to come up, but she says she maybe she had never looked up Alexis and seen, but she has this text from 2018, and she showed it, where Alexis is saying, we are going to sue you. We are going to have our attorney contact you, from the whole Jimmy Bellino thing, when she was saying all along, we've been divorced 6 months. I had nothing to do with that. So now we know she's a big fat liar, and that tells me she's probably also a big fat liar, and she is involved and behind and encouraging and supporting John Jansen's lawsuit of her. So for sure. I know. How did she do that? Michael Riley says, I wish I could go back and find a text from 2018. Like, if I delete a text thread, all the old ones don't come up. Now, as we know, we watched this on 2020. The internet is forever. The texts are forever. So, the police, the AT&T, the Verizon, whoever you have, can pull up old text. But she just found this on this other way for sure. Babu says, think I'm the only one who thinks Shannon is not so innocent in everything she does. I totally agree that John Jansen is so wrong, but the victim act constantly doesn't work for me. She looks fabulous, though. I must say, I didn't like her word salad. She was fumbling on, she's now fumbling about what she said on Jeff Lewis Live. She was fumbling on Watch What Happens Live when she was asked about it. I mean, if you look at the face of Andy Cohen, he's literally looking at her like, what the hell are you trying to say? Like, are you forgetting your lines? Did you not know your script? So I didn't love that about it. And she pretty much said, look, at this point in my life, I'm 60 years old. I'm like, if you don't believe me, I'm not even going to try to convince you. So I don't know. As someone who's had out and out lies and allegations and exaggerations said about them where other people are believing it, it's so freaking frustrating. But at some point you realize the same people are going to believe the lies, and it doesn't matter what you say or who says it. You know what I mean? So yeah, Lori says it was a big fumble on Watch What Happens Live. She came out looking like a rock star, and I was like, wow, like you are really, like, we know this was recorded in March. We know it's now October that it's coming on, but it was live last night. So we know she knows what episode they saw. So other people, LTD says, okay, you're not the only one. I feel, I hate to say, I hate to even put this out there. I feel a stumble is coming up from Shannon. I just feel it. I'm not into like, we share a birthday, the Aries. I mean, I'm not into like that kind of psychic stuff. I'm just saying I do feel like a little bit of a step down. I feel like something's going to come out or some behavior or, a slip up, something. I feel like she was so low last September when she got the DUI, like nobody was on her side. And then I feel like she really got bumped up a lot. And I feel like now it's going to land somewhere in the middle, like something's going to come out. I have no idea if this ring camera footage is ever going to come out, but if it does, I feel like it could be very messy for her. Yeah. Michael Riley says Shannon's always been messy, but been through a lot. I mean, let's not forget, a lot of us do want to forget, but I don't forget seasons ago where she was really rock bottom and really screaming and crying and just awful behavior. Now, she was going through the divorce from her husband, David. So that was a lot. But yeah, Deborah says, I'm with you, Sarah. And I don't even want to put that out into existence, but I'm saying I feel like she's been put on such a high pedestal where everyone is. Are they really pro Shannon or are they so anti Alexis? Like, which one is it? Like, are they almost making Shannon into a superhero? Or is it that people hate Alexis and everything that she's doing and the mean girl behavior and the I've got your man, all that BS that she's saying? You know what I mean? True. That was a big house they lived in. Michael Riley says, I would hate to have to leave that big house. It's painful. Yeah. And, they had built it. She has 3 daughters and, just taking them away from that lifestyle. Any divorce is hard on the mom and the dad and the kids. So, just I'm sure it was all a nightmare, but her reaction was not great. And I do remember all of that. You know what I mean? Yes. Lori says, and David remarried right away and has a baby now. Yeah, the baby's now about 2-ish years old. But so Leslie Beador, who's been on again, off again with David Beador, did put out a message. I saw it this morning. I don't think I reshared it, but I meant to. Basically talking to Alexis, basically saying, don't say when we dated because we met long after Shannon and David were broken up. He had many girlfriends before that. So don't put out that narrative about us and whatever. I'm like, what do you care? Like every other week you hate David Beador. Like, oh my gosh. Yes. Diane says Alexis went from super godly to this nasty mess. Yeah, for sure. For sure. I don't know. Kimberly says, aren't David and Leslie separated now? I mean, literally, I think it's hour by hour. They are a hot mess for darn sure. It was a good Watch What Happens Live, though. Really, really, really good one. But when she had said that about how generous Johnny J was, and she didn't say if she agreed to do it or not, though. So has anyone heard? Like that was in real time that she had just gotten that message. So anyways, I did reshare this. So Northwest, what's Northwest, like 9 or 10 years old? She seems older. She seems wise beyond her years. She's apparently calling out her mom, Kim Kardashian, for not cooking dinner for the past 2 years. I was like, I mean, your mom is Kim Kardashian. She's got 4 little kids that she's pretty much raising without the freaking Kanye West, without the dad. I'm just like, throw her a bone. Like, my goodness. I mean, I feel like once she hits 18, I feel like she's going to write a book that I am going to read for. I feel like she's going to read her mom for filth. I feel like, what's the boy that during the pandemic, he started like a Instagram or TikTok and he was basically bashing Kourtney Kardashian, his mom, Mason. And then it found out that was his Instagram or TikTok handle. Oh my God. I feel like together they're going to tear that family apart. Oh my gosh. Yeah, she probably does, but she needs it. I mean, she does work a lot. I mean, Y'all, I'm a day one Kim Kardashian, keeping up with the keeping up with the Kardashians. I love them so much. Candace says she probably has several nannies per kid. I don't know. She seems pretty hands-on. Like, I've seen her take kids and their friends in the birthday parties, and I don't know. I think all the Kardashians are pretty good moms. I think Kris Kardashian, I know. Is David in remission? Why did I forget that he was sick? I don't even know anything about that. I don't know. But yeah, David the Chump. Robin says, I mean, we got to give him credit. He's the one that came up with the name Chump. I've got the video of it whenever Jeff, during the pandemic with Megan and Doug there at his house when he was filming and he was recording, he's reading all the text that David says. He's like, "You're such a chump." And they just started using it as the whatever. Okay, let's chat Thousand Pound Sisters and then Real Housewives of Orange County that was on last night. Thousand Pound Sisters, season 6, episode 1, Tammy and Amy. Wow. I mean, these ladies are, in their prime. They're both Amy's getting over a divorce from her ex and 2 little boys. They're now 3 and like 15 months ish. Tammy lost her husband, Caleb, although I don't think they were together at the time. Doesn't matter. Still, losing your husband is very sad, although I think they were eventually going to divorce. They lost me when they got out these baby dolls and started speaking to their exes through this app that was like trying to say different words. They lost me on all that, but they seem super into it. The dolls that Amy brought look like, I don't even know. They look like they came out of the trash can. Maybe she's had them since she was a kid. I have no idea. Oh, I think Simon Barney is who was sick. Right. I think Simon was sick. Reality T says, Tamara Barney's first husband. No, second husband. Wasn't she married to, I think she was actually married to her son Ryan's dad too. So she might be in her third marriage with Eddie. Anyways, Amy talks about like her mental health as a single mom, how much she struggled, but her only brother, Chris, who I love so much, says that he's really seen her, kind of come into her own. She has now moved out from Tammy, who was helping her a lot with the boys. She's moved into the old house that she lived in with her ex-husband and seems to be doing well. Like, the only thing is, do they have jobs outside of like, my kids were watching them and telling me about them on YouTube before they were ever on TLC with their own TV show. So I know that they were like content creators, making money. They would do YouTubes and I think like live events. They would do like autograph signings at hotels and such. So I know they can make money from that. And if you look at their houses, they're not $1 million houses in Kentucky. So, but I just don't know if they have a job outside of filming because they never show that part of it. The only one they do is, I think Chris has a job. I think Amanda has a job. Maybe the sister Misty has a job. I don't know. I feel like those siblings talk about jobs, but I don't know that Amy and Tammy, I mean, Tammy might be on disability for all I know, right? Kind of hard to say if they make any other money other than that. They go to this farm day, which is kind of alarming because Tammy has never driven. And they put her on this tractor. The little babies are near. They're barely 3 and like 15 months old. They're in like a little a wagon being pulled, or maybe they're in a stroller. I can't remember. But she does well with the first go round and is driving it. And then she kind of loses control and starts freaking out. So, if you watch it, the boys were very close. And I think that was ridiculous of, no one can ever anticipate an accident like that, but knowing she had never driven before and then to put her behind this very fast tractor because they did like a race and it was crazy. How fast it was going. They go and do their body fat. And even though she's lost 400 pounds, like this professional body fat thing, her and Chris go have it done. Her body fat is still 53%. So I don't know if that takes into account all the skin that she has, the loose skin, but all five of the siblings have had at least one go around. I feel like Amanda is in her second. Feel like she just had a revision for her bypass or whatever it's called, but they all go to the same doctor now, Dr. Smith, and they didn't show that when they got there, but they want skin removal. So that is a huge procedure. I watch it all the time on 600-Pound Life. A Dr. Now, love that dude. Y'all know he's in Houston. But it seems like it's a very serious surgery, but you also have to have lost enough fat. Like, you can't take the skin off if it's still fat. So 53% sounds like a lot of fat, right? Michael Riley's updating us on it. My backyard, but luckily overall to lose 20-foot palms. Hated that I hate when a tree goes down, or a palm tree. Yeah. And palm trees can obviously injure the houses or electricity lines or other things. So yeah, sorry about that, for sure. Oh, 2 oak trees, Lori says. Yeah, oak trees are definitely can go down over a house. Okay, Real Housewives of Orange County was on last night, season 18, episode 14. We know we've got 3 more episodes, 15, 16, and 17. And then I think we're getting 3 reunion episodes. So, wow. Starts off this girls' trip, looks all light and airy, Melanie on the Sarah from Texas Facebook group gave some really good information that she had heard Erica Jane say on a podcast one time, giving all the details about how much Bravo pays for a girls' trip, how much the actual person hosting is required to pay for. Because I'm sorry, I mean, it has come out now. Shannon has said a couple of times, I did need the money. Like, he didn't just give me this money. Like, I did need the money. So I did not pay attention. I made a video clip of it and put it in the Sarah from Texas Facebook group. I had missed on Jeff, or I'd forgotten on Jeff Lewis Live when she had said it was, I did need the money. Like, he did give it to me because he said, John Jansen said, I wish you could get a low interest loan. And she said, well, you have money. I mean, is that admitting you got a loan? I mean, Tamara and Heather Dubrow were really going at Shannon behind her back. So, it's true. I know. Lori says, but is a facelift really a need? Just asking. I mean, because she had done like the neck thing, like that was all separate, right? Like, remember when she did the neck thing and she told Jeff they took off the most neck than they've taken out on anyone? Lori says it sounds like an admission. Yeah, and her finally saying that days later, not 6 months later, not after they divorced. Now, maybe it was on one of their fights. Who knows? I'm sure, whatever. He sent her an email, so in writing, saying, here's a promissory note. Basically, he was trying to say, hey, now I'm putting it in writing. Well, you kind of got to do that before you transfer the money. You know what I mean? Reality T, and I know I totally missed that. Reality T22 says Shannon, I think, admitted guilt during Jeff's show. Yeah, so go listen to the clip. I did put it in the Facebook group. To me, she is admitting that it was a loan. I think what she's basically saying is, look, I borrowed money from him in a time of need. He offered it, or I said, you have the money, but I also paid for a lot of the stuff for the first 2 years. Well, also, that was optional on your part. It's almost to me like Jeff telling Gage, hey, I chose to double child support during the pandemic. That way, Monroe was living more of the similar lifestyle between us two. But now Jeff is trying to say, oh, that's going to go towards the loan that I owe you. I mean, it can't go both ways. It kind of has to be an agreement. It kind of has to be on paper. It has to be done the right way, right? Reality T says it's not looking good. Shannon should be saying no comment, period. She knows how lawsuits work. Johnny J is a creep, but it sounds like it was a loan. It does to me too. I mean, when she admits she needs the money, that's a loan. That's not, hey, let me give you money. That's I can't pay for something. And I feel like in the years past, she has said something, or in the years that this has been going on, that she said something about she needed some of it to pay for her kids' colleges. Well, I mean, if you can't afford it, you can't afford it. I mean, one kid went to, you know, Baylor, which is a private school in Texas. One kid went to New York City, so I'm sure you're paying out of state. One kid goes to American University in Paris, so no telling what that costs. I mean, I'm not saying they need to do junior college and live at home, but there's different ways to send your children to college and not pay that much when you don't have the money. So if you don't have the money, does that mean she doesn't have money in the bank? She doesn't have money for retirement? Like, what does it mean if you got a loan, if you got to borrow $75,000 from your boyfriend at the time? What does that mean? Like, we know she doesn't own her own house right now. She's renting a house, and I think she's rented for a long time. I don't know that she's bought her own house since the divorce. So again, that makes me sad that she's not set up financially to own her own house. Yes, but see, it wasn't put into the divorce, which I'm hearing is common, which I don't understand. Sarah says, "Isn't David rich, though, to pay the kids' school fees?" I feel like besides, being a Real Housewives, which is a career that does pay, going to BravoCon, all these things, her Real for Real came about because of her fame. She did this business. I'm just saying, I feel like if they were still married and he was going to pay for the three girls' colleges 100%, if they were still married, then that should have been put into the divorce thing. Or she should have been given a lump sum in him saying, "Hey, here's 600,000 for three kids' college," because they didn't go to local, they didn't go to community college. Reality T22 says she should be pushing her product with having the fans on her side, but she doesn't seem to be plugging her Real for Real now. She basically said that had died out in her and her CFO, Steve, because it's a healthy lifestyle, right? It's tinctures, it's sleep aids, it's leggings. I've got the $85 leggings. They're cheap. I don't like them. They're that shiny legging material. Anyways, with lemons on it. It says like, "Go F yourself," or whatever it said on there. But she says she couldn't, whatever. But now for months that she's had, you're right, the fans on her side, she should be plugging. She should be back to doing Real for Real. Like, pivot, do something else. Real for Real can be whatever. Remember when she was going to do healthy meals? Well, shit, it's January in a couple of months. Everyone's going to want healthy meals. They would love to have a Shannon Beador healthy meal delivered to their door, right? I don't know. Southern Belle Cell says, "I bet Leslie Beador threw a fit if he paid their colleges." What that pisses me off, though, because that has, to me, those children have nothing to do with the divorce. But I realize, sadly, that kids become, they get lost in all the mix between the sadness and the fighting between the ex-husband and the ex whatever. But also, he's been on the outs with those kids and not talked to them. I think when they got old enough, I don't think they wanted to go visit with him and stay with him. I definitely have seen a recent picture where one of them was vacationing with him and Leslie and the little 2-year-old or whatever it is. Yeah, she could be in a situation like not Jen Fessler, Jen from Real Housewives of OC. What's her name? With the 5 kids. She was just on Jeff Lewis, whatever her last name is. Southern Belle Cell says, "I think Shannon needs financial help and education." Sadly, I think a lot of women do. Maybe some men too. I don't know. Cecily says David does have creepy eyes. I mean, they're pretty, but he just seems to have an angry side to him. Like, he looks like he could go from 0 to 60 real fast, which kind of scares me. Like, he's really attractive, but then he's, not Jen Aiden. I think she knows about money. What's her name? Jenn. Freaking y'all. What's her name? Now that I have a phone I can use. Jen. Jen Pedronti. She's the one that really had no idea in her marriage. Okay, so they all go get a mammogram, which is great. Some of them, like Jean, I don't think had ever had one because she just turned 40. Shannon admits she had gone like 10 years without without a mammogram. So she's 60. She had gone from 50 to 60 without a mammogram. So a couple of them have like little pings of interest and things they need to kind of check. But at the end of the day, they got good treatment because not everybody has a doctor on call and is doing the ultrasound the same day and a radiologist reading the results. They had all that. So Heather Dubrow knew that her risk was raised, which I'm curious because I have dense breasts too. And that does raise your risk, but I've never been told what my risk is. She basically says her risk is now up to 39% and 12% is normal. But when she goes and tells the ladies this at the dinner, when she's all pissy, like, nobody asked about me. Okay, Heather, like, get over yourself. She said 40% risk, and then she said 11% was normal. And I'm like, you're kind of changing the numbers. Like, I wish the producers would have done a thing where they rewind and show the numbers because I'm catty like that, but they didn't. Yes, Michael Riley says, must get those mammograms and colonoscopies. And I just realized that fall of this year is 6 years since I had my last colonoscopy. So my GI doctor isn't he used to come to my area like once a week. Now he doesn't. So that's part of my thing is to see which GI doctor I'm going to go to and get my next colonoscopy. And I don't know when they said to come back. Like, I just don't even remember. That's the thing. Life passes you by and nobody wants to do a mammogram. Nobody wants to get a colonoscopy, especially if you're paying out of pocket, which can be thousands because it's not just always covered. And every time I go to the mammogram and then they tell me there's something else they need to look at, it's another $500 or $800, right? So, and then they're like, oh, everything was fine. And I'm like, I mean, you want it to be fine, but you're also like, did you just call me in for more testing just to get money from me? You know what I mean? Rebecca says, how do you get a mammogram with tiny boobs? Asking for a friend. Well, they can smush anything. Trust me. They get in there for sure. And the shingle shot. Exactly. We got to do a lot of stuff. Susan DG says colonoscopy is a minimum of 5 years, sooner if you have symptoms. Okay. So I need to get on that for sure. Love. Michael Riley says, I love seeing that insurance card. They love seeing that insurance card. Yeah, exactly. I mean, I literally think some things are cheaper if you just pay outright than if you have the insurance. You know what I mean? But once they know you have insurance, they're going to charge the insurance because they get more for sure. Make sure you're getting tested. Southern Belle Cell says, I have knots and dense breast tissue. It's inherited. Yep, for sure. Okay. So what are our thoughts? Is Shannon okay? Okay. Okay, this is going to sound similar to, and it's really just out of concern. I really want people to be financially prepared, financially confident, financially secure, because things can be lost at any moment. So this is going to sound like deja vu from me talking about Jenna Lyons and the $217,000 car when she had just admitted, hey, over my career, I've been on the outs, like I've been at zero and I've had to bring myself up. So knowing that Shannon had to borrow this $75,000, 35,000 of it was for a facelift, which is completely optional, but she clearly didn't have the money for it, or the doctor wasn't giving it as a trade out. What do we think of her giving each lady at a minimum a $595 Burberry scarf? There was other stuff in the bag too. We just don't exactly know what it was. Like, I don't know what those hats cost, but it didn't look like a $2 hat from, Shein or anything. She did admit finally that it is a loan on Jeff Lewis Live. Like I said, I did put that video in the Sarah from Texas Facebook group. But the way Heather and Tamara were just dissecting her and tearing her apart at the dinner, and then Shannon gets up and leaves. And then they start laughing at her when she was like looking at them through the bars of the restaurant. And they were like, well, we're laughing. And she's like, look, well, they said it was $595. Maybe that was retail. I don't know. Um, but regardless, I kind of cringed a little bit because I'm like, girlfriend, it's kind of like, and if you've had this, you know, when someone borrows money from you and then the next month you see on Facebook them going on a cruise and you're like, wait a minute, like you just borrowed money from me and now you're posting about a cruise that you're going on. It's kind of like, what's going on? Did I get scammed? Did John Jansen get scammed? You know, John Jansen's like, and I think several of them said, look, even her friends were like, look, give the scarf, you know, take that back. I'll give you the receipt and take all these gifts back and put that towards your $75,000 because she keeps saying, I don't have it, which tells me she doesn't have it. Like, I don't think she wants to pay it either, but she also doesn't want to pay it. Sarah Lee says, Shannon certainly seems broke. Why has she spent so much in rent? Yeah, that house she's in doesn't look cheap. It looks very, now, and I'm not saying she needs to be in a, you know, $1,000 apartment in Orange County, because I don't even think they probably exist. But I do wonder, like, I don't know. No 60-year-old wants to live with her dad, but I'm like, where does her dad live? Does, you know, he's got money. Where does her mom? Well, actually, her mom lives in like Georgia or somewhere. She flies out to visit her. I don't know. I don't know what the answer is, but you know, you've got 3 kids away at college. You can definitely downsize. I think she should have been in a smaller rental that is safe and secure because she is famous. And, you know, we know these housewife fans do show up at things and a neighbor would take pictures of her and stuff. So you do need to kind of live in a safe area. You know what I mean? Maybe. Yes, not a bad idea. Bravo and Stone says she needs to sell some insurance with Vicky. That would be a great storyline. And she and Vicky are good. So, you know, she could definitely do that for sure. I don't know. Good question. Southern Belle Sells, did any of you think that Shannon's dad gives her money? He's rich, right? I don't know. I mean, I'm not opposed to it if he is. It's almost to me like a pre-inheritance, like he's giving her money as he's alive versus all the money, you know, when she needs it versus the money whenever, you know, he passes away. If she is getting money, just because your dad is rich doesn't mean you're getting the money, right? Oh my God. Sarah says she should move into Doug's shed. Oh my God. I mean, he just lost his roommate. So, yeah, if she paid him, I don't know what his roommate David paid, 1,500. I don't know what a room goes for in Hollywood. Who knows? Wait, what? Lisa in Kentucky says, I'm on my way to Texas Roadhouse with Denise and her little sore boobies from getting her mammogram today. I love that. Is Denise a friend? Y'all have so much fun. I don't know. Has she ever talked about a brother or sister? Is she an only child? Diane says. I don't know. If she's ever talked about a brother or sister, I have absolutely forgotten. Yeah. I mean, I think so. Cecily says fame and a paycheck are fleeting and you got to have money in the bank. I mean, reality TV, you've got to diversify. I mean, maybe not a restaurant like Teresa and G are thinking, but oh my God. But she could absolutely, like somebody said, she could absolutely, now that the fans are on her side, she can absolutely come out with this healthy lifestyle thing. Maybe she's not living it with the, you know, how she got it from the restaurant and then went and got an alcoholic drink. That didn't exactly look, you know, great for her, but she could absolutely come out with the real for real or pivot and do a different thing, come out with vitamins. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I bought the $85 leggings. I mean, I'm sure other people are. I bought the tincture years ago and shared it with my friends and we all drank, you know, we all tried it. It was like, that's disgusting. And did I believe it helped me with anything? No. Oh my God, for sure. Reality T says, you know, Doug Budin has stories for Shannon about Shannon and Vicky. I would love to talk to him one-on-one. Well, for $2,000 or whatever it is for lunch, you can. Matter of fact, the 14th is going to be a big day. So don't forget, Monday, October 14th is when Jeff said that he's announcing the ticket sales for the OC show on December 19th. But he's been saying a couple times that's also the date that the app called, oh shoot, what's it called? Shit, what's that app called? It's not rolling off my tongue. Whatever the app him and the dude came up with. Cecily says, I've never bought anything from a reality TV person. I have quite a collection. I like all that kind of stuff. Yes, reality says I might have to do it for the real tea on Shannon and Vicky. I actually don't think he would say much. You know what I mean? I think Doug is a vault. I really think he would keep it to himself, but I don't know. Okay, so John sent Shannon the promissory note. Tamara says that Shannon told her that it's a loan. So I don't know what that time frame is. Basically, on Watch What Happens Live, where Shannon is backpedaling, is she's basically saying, look, when Jeff asked me, have you thought about if John Jansen heard the wreck or not? And she said, no, never. And the other girls are like, but you told me you did. You sent me the picture. So I'm kind of wanting like a, 7th grade timeline, project where it's like on this date, the accident happened. At this time, I sent the picture to John Jansen with me in the bloody face. He didn't text me back until this time. 10 days later, Jeff Lewis asked me, hey, do you think he heard the accident? And then 2 days later, I talked with Tamara. Like, I want an actual timeline, and I think that would make a lot more sense. Like all of those facts coming out. You know what I mean? Oh, well, that's true. Sarah, Southern Belle says, Sarah, you have a collection behind you. I mean, this is nothing. I have more. This is a candle from Chaz Dean, my Poland Patrick cup, my Countess Luann candle from her live show, picture of me and Jeff at the $10,000 dinner, BravoCon stuff. Yeah, wine way up there. Can you see all my trash up there? The wine from the Hideaway Low that I want. I know if I didn't even drink it. I need to give that to a friend. I need to give that away. Anyways, but I have more, like my $272 Sheba Sheree hoodie downstairs and my Tinks sweatpants for $80. I love those Tinks sweatpants, and the workout pants from Real for Real are not great. Robin says, I'm so excited for the Jeff Lewis Live in Irvine new lineup. So if you are planning to go and you want to come alone, you want to meet other people, meet up with them, make sure you join. There's already the event set up in the Sarah from Texas Facebook group. I love that. Bravo and Stone said I own the first edition of Vicky's book. I don't think I read Vicky's book, but I did read Dorinda's book, which was really good. And I read Margaret Joseph's book, which was really good. I'm so disappointed. I've still never read Andy Cohen's books. Like, I've read Tori Spelling's, all of her books. I love that kind of stuff. Anyways, it was really sad. Like I said, we already talked about Shannon having proof of Alexis's text from 2018, admitting that she was involved in that. So just awful. But, God bless her. She came on Watch What Happens Live like a champ. You know what I mean? Like a champ. I do. I need to read them. Michael Riley says, Andy Cohen's books are great. I have to say, Andy Cohen's books are great. Yeah. I should listen to him read them. I should do that on my walks. I need to figure out how to do audiobooks. I'm literally so old school. I don't even know how to do an audiobook. But that's what I would like to do instead of a podcast. I would like to read. I would like to audio listen to Andy Cohen's books. I need to do that. I need to figure that out at 51 years old. I need to read Stassi's book too. I think that would be good too. Okay, let's get into it today. They are still in Dallas. Shayna Moakler and Leah Black are on together. Question about Oscar's situation. First of all, did you understand it? It was a little bit of him not saying things he didn't want to say. He didn't really want to put it out there. Basically, he was in band with a guy in high school. Oscar is now like 27 years old, still in college, but he's about to graduate soon. I don't think he's kept in touch with this guy, but they were all meeting up last night, like 180 of them. and they started texting and talking about, like, I don't regret anything from high school. Like, they apparently, like, made out or had some little, time together. Well, the guy goes, people are telling him that he's got a girlfriend, that he's dating someone, which is very different than saying you have a girlfriend, right? Dating someone doesn't mean girlfriend. But the guy asked for a ride home, I guess. Wait, how did he? Okay, he must have given him a ride home, and then Oscar went out to dinner at BJ's with the rest of the people. But they had a 10-minute makeout. I mean, 10-minute makeout, and he wouldn't tell us the details. So I'm thinking there were some hands involved, there was some action through the jeans involved, there was a little hardness involved. I think it was, and basically the guy says something like, "I wish I didn't have a girlfriend." Now, does that mean he really has a girlfriend? Or was he joking? Because it sounds like he's very in tune with his sexuality and doesn't hide anything. Maybe he was joking, saying, "Too bad I have a girlfriend. Like, I'm really into you." Like, I just feel like they need to be very honest with each other and have a whatever, because I feel like Oscar is gonna catch feelings very quickly unless if it's confusing, and he's either gonna shut it down when it could go somewhere, or he's gonna hope it goes somewhere, and then they're just not gonna talk about it. Okay, so Shannon has a brother and a sister, Liz and the B. I just don't feel like I've ever heard her talk about them. I don't know. Oh, Michael Riley says the mouth was involved. Wow, that's a whole different 10 minutes, right? That's a Jeff Lewis take him back to the house thing. Um, More Leah Black sale confusion. I mean, the way Jeff was, I mean, again, it was like a brother and sister fighting. It was just like, we don't understand this. Shayna Mokler was like, I don't understand it. Do we have to spend $99? Do we have to spend $50? Like, when is the free shipping? Like, I understood it yesterday and explained it to y'all. And then today I was like, well, shit, now I do think it's confusing. So I don't know why it can't be just Jeff. Basically, I think, gets a lot of DMs. He did mention all the DMs he was getting from the hurricane. He did mention when Leah Black was saying, I think all guys that say they're into guys and girls are really only into guys. Basically saying she doesn't believe in bisexuality. And Jeff was like, look, I've already had the bisexuality community come at me. I'm not having the hurricane and the bisexuality community coming at me. So I'm just not dealing with that. Oh, Julie says I'm going kind of hard on Shannon today. Well, I admit I didn't love the backpedaling on Watch What Happens Live specifically, but I had also not remembered or not paid attention to exactly what she said on Jeff Lewis Live. So that did change my thoughts whenever she basically asked him for a loan, like, hey, you've got money. Very different to me. So, yep, as with anything, my opinions can change when I get more information about something, right? Them talking about Snow White 90210. I've told you, I have met Snow White. I mean, I think every time I've met them, the dog has been with them. I'm trying to think if she's ever not been with them. So I've met Snow White 90210 probably 10 times. I don't even know. Every other time she's snippy. So she definitely can bite people. Now, it may not hurt, but the way she comes out, she's so little and she snaps. So it's alarming. She's definitely tried to bite me for sure. She's never left a mark or broken skin, anything like that. They say she has no teeth. I think she does have teeth, though. Like, she's definitely not all gummy. I'd have to look at a picture and see if she's ever smiling. Now, she is easy for other people to hold. She does weigh literally a pound or two. I mean, she's so tiny, but they do take her everywhere. And I do worry that, somebody's going to, if nothing else, she can cause, anxiety. She can cause, like, they can claim scared, whatever you call it, like post-traumatic, yeah, like post-traumatic stress or whatever. Oh, Susan says, I met and held Snow White 902 once at their shop the day we were with you, and she was very calm. But she's very calm, or she's snappy. Like, she's, You just don't know what she's getting. Poland Patrique's dog is who we're talking about, Snow White 90210, which Jeff called today 91402 or whatever whatever their actual zip code is. So they did go to the roundup. Lots of chumps showed up trying to meet up with Jeff. They went on purpose for sure. One chump even called in and said, "Look, we left at 9:00 because we didn't think you were coming." And then Jeff and them showed up at 9:30. So I do feel bad for whatever the super drunk chump was because they kind of called that person out. I think it was a guy. But Jeff ends up going to another bar across the street that someone tells him about, and he ends up meeting a tall guy, and the guy comes back to his hotel room. So, maybe he'll be traveling to Dallas a lot more. Who knows? I think the guy wants to meet up with him for lunch today. So it sounds like it's going good. Jeff didn't really go into details, but I think he gets embarrassed about that kind of stuff. Like I said, the app messed up whenever I was going to the second commercial. So on Jeff Lewis Extended was Poland Patrique. Did Leah stick around? I don't feel like she did. I feel like it was just Poland Patrique and Shane and Jeff, but now I'm trying to think of who all was in the conversations. Shane did the karaoke last night at the bar, which he's so good. He really is. Some caller called in and basically said, you were on Real Housewives of OC again last night. And he said, "Oh, it almost sounds like I'm going to be back on Bravo." So if he's not, then he is absolutely teasing us, because I definitely think whatever this thing is that Poll is saying with the coffee reading, that 30 to 45 days, Jeff can't have any public or private feuds with anyone. I think that's because this Bravo show is going to be announced at that time, which I don't know why it would be that long. Like, I don't know, but definitely it's intentional that they have shown Jeff Lewis live so much on Real Housewives of Orange County and Real Housewives of New York for sure, because they've definitely done it for sure. Susan says, "I did catch some of Rick and Kelly live this morning. There were a lot of people on there, a lot of chumps." Oh, they were live? Oh, live. Oh, like live on Instagram or something? What'd they say? Yes, Reality T says, "Jeff is definitely back on Bravo, a new flipping out." I feel like that too. For sure. Poll predicted Justin's engagement a couple of months ago, so he was kind of pissy that that Justin lied, but I feel like Justin had a reason. Like, he was like, "Look, all of our family and friends didn't know yet. We hadn't had a chance to tell them, so they wanted to keep it to themselves." But he said that another chump is going to be engaged in the next 2 months. So do we think that's going to be Brandon and Jameson? Maybe at the family reunion? Or do we think it could be Shane and Brogan at Christmas time? Like, so Shannon kind of came at her. Reality T says, "Kelly Dodd said this morning that Shannon Beador is enjoying the audience seeing her as a victim. I found that interesting." I mean, who wouldn't? I mean, everyone in a public feud wants the public and the fans and the podcasters and the fan accounts and all that to be on their side. So that's normal. I just feel like something's brewing. I feel like the tide might turn. Even if right now it's like at a 9. Like, I feel like she has so much support. It's like at a 9. I feel like it's going to end up being a 5 or a 6 very soon. You know what I mean? Just the fumbling on the Watch What Happens Live, me re-listening to what she said on Jeff Lewis Live, even what Tamara's saying, that, she kind of said this, what Heather said. I don't know. Like I said, I want a freaking timeline. I need it written out on a white poster board. You know what I mean? Susan said, "Many of us were like, bye, I have to listen to Jeff Lewis Live at 9 a.m. Yeah. So it was 11 a.m. Where are they at? Are they in California? Because that would have been, I don't even know. Yeah. Yes, we talked about it at the beginning of the show today. Did you see the apology from Love Hotel host Kim Joel Booster? We chatted about him at the beginning of the show and the apology. A caller called in So I think Susan yesterday said that I don't think Jeff can talk about the school bus thing. Well, no, he answered it today. He basically said, "Well, I haven't heard how it went yet, but I get her on Monday, so I will find out." But basically, he says if she's happy, if it's I know she's safe, but if she's happy to ride the bus now, then I'll be okay with it. But they need both parents' consent for her to ride the bus, and Jeff has not officially given his consent to ride the bus. So I'm sort of surprised that the private school would not make him sign something yes or no. And I guess they can change their mind at any moment too. Like if Monroe rides the bus for a month and decides she doesn't want to anymore, because Jeff's like, look, I've already offered all my nannies are willing to drive her to school on the weeks that he has her. So there's really no excuse. And then he's picking her up from school. So maybe he doesn't want to deal with like morning traffic, but he's okay with the afternoon traffic. But if she's so anti it, that would really make me sad when Jeff has put forward the offer for his nannies to now go ahead and do that. Southern Bell Cell says, Sarah, now that Jeff is 50% time to each parent, does he still pay child support? He does. I think he pays about $8,000 a month. Susan said, Gage made a big deal about Monroe not riding with anyone he doesn't know, and then he puts her on the bus. Yeah, and isn't it like 45 minutes or an hour? Am I getting it mixed up, or am I thinking of when Tom Arnold said he drives his daughter to school for an hour, or his kids? I don't know. Michael Riley says kids need to get in the effing bus. I mean, but if she doesn't want to, like my kids liked the bus. So I even paid for the bus when they were little, because for my public school, if you live within a certain 2 miles, you have to pay. But I paid because my kids liked it and were okay with it. But it also helped me not load up the babies or the toddlers into the car seats so early whenever they were still sleeping. And then my kids could just get on the bus. They did never marry, but they were together for 10 years. Jeff and Gage never married, right? Yet Jeff pays him so much, a U.S. Fly Girl says. That's part of the agreement. I don't understand child support when they have each other 50-50. I really don't. I mean, because I don't know. I don't understand it, but I think that happens with normies too that get a divorce, right? Jeff sort of explained the hurricane talk and how he was just amped up from it. I feel like Leah was trying to make a joke like, oh, he's going to donate some money, but he was like, no, unless I take the money from, Roy and Leah Black, I'm not donating. I'm not donating money, but wasn't exactly an apology. I know I've seen some chatter in the Facebook group. I've gotten a couple of personal messages telling me how upset they are about Jeff's minimizing, if you will, of the hurricane and the extent of the damage, especially the 6 people that passed away. And they're just kind of done with it. So I have heard that people are tuning him out. But I've kind of been hearing that for like 6 months or a year, to be honest with you. So I don't know. In some ways, I think the boldness of him brings people to listen to him, but I also think it definitely tunes people out for sure too. So it probably kind of equals out. You know what I mean? What did he say? Yes. Sarah says, what did he say that was wrong? That the hurricane was a letdown or something? Yes. He basically talked on and on and on about how he had watched it. And I think we all agree. I mean, what I said yesterday was I don't like how much the meteorologists and the news amp it up, almost with the hope, it feels like, of mass destruction and like, the hurricane of the century and all this stuff. And then it's, much different result than they said. But to those people that are affected, it is a, hurricane of the century. So, yeah. Rebecca said, kids learn so much from riding the school bus. I mean, like how babies are made, important things like that. I mean, exactly. Exactly. They learn a lot for sure. Oh my gosh. Exactly. Michael Riley says he can come replace my fence. Exactly. I mean, our fence is still leaning because I haven't hassled with our fence company because I know they were dealing with real, lots of fences down completely. So our fence that's pretty new is leaning a little bit from the hurricane barrel. When was that? August? When was that? September? Remember, I was out for a week because my internet was so choppy. So it was just so bad. Anyways, well, we are going to wrap it up. I hope you have an amazing weekend. I get to go have a fun weekend with my daughter at college. I'm supposed to have a fun dinner tonight with some girls, but sadly, one of our friends' husband had a death in the family, so we're not going to dinner tonight. We will delay that. So I would have had makeup on for you if I were getting ready for the night, but it got canceled last night, so we are not going to do that. Make sure you're following me everywhere at Sarah from Texas Podcast. Give me a 5-star rating and review on my Sarah from Texas podcast. I would really appreciate it. Thank you so much for joining live. Or if you're listening as a replay, please still hit the thumbs up or the like button. I would really appreciate it. Bye, Chumpettes.